Over the years, I have tried many times to get myself to play a Yakuza game from start to end and have always failed because I simply didn't connect with the core gameplay loop of watching a long cutscene and then getting into a fight with some mini games sprinkled on the side. The series, now called Like a Dragon to match the original Japanese name, has only been growing with multiple games coming out in a short span of time. With The Man Who Erased His Name promising a shorter story and launching day 1 on Game Pass, it felt like the perfect time to give this series a try again. And this time, I finally got a good understanding of this franchise's formula and even appreciated it a bit. Since I am kind of a newcomer to this series, I may not connect with this game's story on the same level as someone who has been following it for years. That doesn't mean this game doesn't welcome first timers. In a few minutes, I was able to catch the drift of the plot. Kazuma Kiryu is a legendary gangster who had to fake his own death to get away from his past, and is now working with a new gang under the name of Joryu. He does a few odd jobs for them and is eventually drawn into a bigger fight with other clans who know about Joryu's past and would like to have a word with him. Strictly speaking, the game's entire purpose is to explain why Kazuma Kiryu appears as a character in the next mainline game, which is Infinite Wealth, launching in 2024. In fact, this game even has a playable trial for the next game. But the 10 to 12 hour story that we get here is a perfectly decent adventure on its own. Since this was the first time I fully experienced a story in this franchise, everything felt fresh to me, but I have seen more experienced reviewers mentioning how this game's story doesn't really bring anything new to the table, which is understandable for such an old franchise. Like I mentioned earlier, the gameplay loop is all about watching the story unfold through long cutscenes. Then usually you are dropped into a fight or you are told to walk to the place where you get into a fight. The bulk of the game is set in a semi-open world of Sotenbori, which you are free to explore when you have some time to kill or need to grind for some money to level up your skills. The streets are full of distractions and this is a lively world with lot of activities to try. Side activities make up a crucial part of experiencing this franchise and there are quite a few of them to try here as well. From arcade games that feature real retro titles to mini golf, there's an interesting set of mini games to keep you engaged. Street fights are the core aspect of the gameplay and you get two fighting styles to choose from. The Yakuza stance is the more traditional beat 'em up style of Yakuza games where you can pick up almost anything around you and use it as a weapon. The second one is the agent stance, which is a new ingredient that this game brings to the franchise. Thanks to his association with the Daidoji clan, Kiryu now has access to a bunch of gadgets that he can use in combat. And when I say bunch, I mean 4, which is a decent number, plus each gadget can be improved to make it better and keep things interesting. If you prefer to engage more with the combat system, there is a fighting ring that allows you to test your skills at any time. However, if you're planning on sticking with this series for the next game, don't get too attached to this combat system because the mainline series now has a turn-based combat system which is vastly different from the freeform brawling system present in this game. Side quests are mostly delivered through a system called the Akame network run by a character called Akame. These are a mix of fetch quests or simple fights that serve as a distraction from the heavy drama of the main story. Even when playing on an Xbox Series S, I was impressed with the art style of this game, which is kind of a near realistic painting. When you're not fighting, it's a treat to walk through the streets of Sotenbori with its bright colors and well-designed characters. There is a fast travel system available, but I didn't use it too often because it was more interesting to simply run through the streets and take in the views. Cutscenes, which make up the bulk of the game's presentation, are rendered in a near cinematic style, making it easy to get immersed into this world. The first thing that I learned about the Yakuza franchise was that you could only play the original games with Japanese audio. This may not be the first series to do it, but it is certainly one of the few that keeps doing it even today.
そっちこそうちを探してたんちゃう？
じゃあお前が赤目？
まあな。そんなジロジロ見んといてくれる？
Yes, there have been other games in this franchise with English audio available, but this game sticks to its roots and brings us an authentic Japanese track as the only option, and it is a treat to listen to. It does get a bit tiring to hear the same empty threats over and over again before each fight, but there are moments in the story where the voice acting draws you in and makes you wish that you met these characters in real life. The sound design and music are quite well done, but since most of my attention was spent on listening to the dialogues and reading the subtitles, I frankly didn't have the time to appreciate the soundtrack in the background too much. The only exception was during the karaoke mini-game, where the entire focus was on the songs being sung, and it's a good chance to experience some Japanese compositions. This is a perfect game to play on Game Pass. It has a decent crime drama, engaging combat, a variety of side activities, and it doesn't demand dozens of hours of your time like some Japanese games do. This game is a good introduction to the series for newcomers like myself. It is definitely an acquired taste, so be prepared to wait for a couple of hours or more before the game fully starts to reveal its true nature.
バカみたい子供なのね夢を追って傷ついて嘘が下手なくせに笑えない笑顔を見せた I love you もろくに言わ